welcome to the podcast. Today's guest is Jack Thomson. Jack, welcome, mate.
Thank you very much, Dom. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, right, thanks for coming on board. So for those people who don't know you, your Instagram name is Forbidden Roots.
Yeah, that's right.
If you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and we can go from there, mate.
Right, okay. Like I say, my name's Jack Thomson, and to the fishing industry, I'm more probably known as Forbidden Roots for my videos that I put out on my YouTube channel. I'm based and live in Sussex, and that's where I've always grown up. And yeah, I've started fishing from a young age, really. My old man got me into the sport a long, long time ago, just float fishing, doing pleasure angling, things like that. And yeah, now, God knows how many years later, this is where we are.
How old are you now, mate?
I am 27.
Okay. I've seen quite a varied sort of number of videos up on your YouTube channel. When did you get into sort of documenting your fishing?
It's a bit of a weird one, really, because it was about 4 years ago, something like that. I decided to buy myself a DSLR, and by no means was it a cracking camera. It was just a Canon EOS or 750D, so sort of mid-range sort of camera. And
Yeah.
I always liked the sort of photography part of carp fishing, stuff like that. And when I first started filming, I've always been one of them people that can, if I pick up a pen, I can draw or something like that. So I've always been into creating stuff. So sort of creating videos, I've enjoyed it ever since I've started, really, and I've just got better and better as I've gone on. Well, I think anyway.
Yeah, and have you just all taught yourself from going on the internet, or how's that come about?
Yeah, as well. I've never been taught a thing, really, in to do with editing or filming. So basically, everything that I've put out on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page is all self-taught, really. Which I suppose this day and age, you can learn what you want, really, from YouTube, can't you? I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great bit of kit, isn't it? What sort of style of angler would you say you are? Are you like a sort of bait and wait, or are you
No, definitely
sort of
not.
mobile?
Yes, very. Anyone that knows me or comes with me, you're in for a hard day's fishing. I do a lot of leg miles when I'm fishing. It depends if I'm out in the city. Like I've done fish in London, and I'm doing something like 28,000 steps or something like that during the day when I go there, which is it's outrageous, isn't it? And or riverbanks, up down, from one end of the stretch to the other end of the stretch, chasing the fish constantly. So baiting and waiting is really not my tactic. I find it extremely hard, especially after. So if I wake up in the morning, if I'm doing a quick overnighter and I'm off to work, yeah, that's fine with me. But if I've got to sit it past bite time, like from 10 to 5 o'clock, I don't know what to do with myself. I can't sit behind them unless I have to, unless there is no room for moving.
So we've had a few people on in the lockdown period that have done a bit of urban fishing in London. Obviously, I've seen your London video. Talk us through a bit about that. How did that come about?
I don't really know, to be honest. Well, there's always been that type of angling that's sort of inspired me, really. Again, probably going back to photographing and all the amazing shots that you can get with buildings and things like that behind you. And I always thought that's really cool. I'd like some of that myself. And maybe going back, seeing Alfie Russell's photographs, things like that back in the day. And I've always thought, I'd like to have a go at that myself. And it's quite a difficult sort of thing to get into, going into the city, because obviously there's not much information. Everyone's really quiet and keep things to themselves, which I don't blame them, and so do I. I never I never leak any of the venues which come up in my videos. But some people who know the city, that's they obviously already know where that is. So I don't feel like
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be ruining anyone's fishing in that respect. But yeah, it's a hard one really with London because, like I say, no one really gives you much information, and you have to get out there and do it yourself really, and that's how it started. Um, just found one venue and then start talking to passers by, and then they go, "Oh, why don't you go and try this place or whatever?" And then next thing you know, on the next trip, you plan that into your route. So
Yeah.
quite
And would
interesting.
you, on one of your sort of London sessions, would you regularly fish multiple venues in a day? Would you sort of get a bit of bait going in and then maybe do a few? I mean, how close together are they in terms of location?
Yes, that was definitely part of our days when we were going up there because we're leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning. We're getting to the first venue early doors. Obviously, some of them possibly you might not have been able to fish and things like that. So you want to be in and out before the city wakes up, really, which is which I'm not saying to
Yeah.
anyone go and do that, but there's a lot of people out there sort of bend the rules, I suppose I say. But yeah, so then and then you're doing that one, then you're going on to these other venues which I have got tickets on and stuff like that. And it's just a better way. It breaks up the day, doesn't it? And if one lake's not having it, you move on to the next, and you can find yourself having 3 or 4 fish just from that move.
Yeah.
But it's hard work. I was going up there and I
How
was
do you?
driving instead of getting public transport and stuff. So
Yeah.
again, parking things like that is a bit of a pain.
Yeah. I bet. How do you handle the public? I saw. Obviously, it attracts lots of attention when you hook one in a park lake.
it it
How was
does.
that?
Some parks more than others, but yeah, definitely. There's a couple. Well, for this one lake, I'm not going to say where it was, but this there was one lake that I had a ticket on, and me and my mate Bradley that were fishing it, we didn't. It wasn't clear in the information pack that you get with it saying whereabouts on the lake you was allowed to fish, and every single part of it
Yeah.
said no fishing on this bank. So it was a bit unclear. So we're obviously going round and stuff. And like you say, as soon as you hook that one fish, you become a celebrity there. Like there is, you turn around, there's 50 to 100 people standing there with their cameras, all videoing you, all different ages and things like that. Some people wanted to get involved with trying to unhook it and try and net it and things like that, which you can. And when the fish is out and you're actually unhooking it and just about to hold that fish up to the camera, you can feel it. All eyes on you. It's a bit of pressure
Yeah.
to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I bet.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a different style of angling which I was never used to, and to say it sort of really got me buzzed for the next weekend or the weekend after when I was going to go back up there. It really did. It brought that extra
Mm.
that bit of fire back to my angling really that I needed.
Nice. No, it's really good. Did you do any nights when you're in the city, or was it all days?
No, we did do a couple of nights, probably in places which were a lot more um, rougher than others. Basically, the first
Mm.
night we done, um, we got our rods out and everything, and as soon as the sun goes down, all the gangs come out, and there was one which was on a basin, and they it was pretty
Yeah.
scary to be fair. Um, but we had no problems whatsoever, and we tucked ourselves away really behind some trees and bushes. So I think people didn't even realise we were there,
Yeah.
to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit different to your normal estate lake or your river, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, when you're out in the
Yeah.
wilderness.
I can imagine.
But yeah, no, it is
So you didn't get any trouble then?
no, we didn't get any trouble. The only sort of times. where did have a few problems with was sort of people that are green, and they don't like you catching the fish and they don't understand it. We had a couple of
Yeah,
we had one
yeah.
bloke walk past us when we was into a fish, and just started going mental at us actually. Um, and then he was just walking further and further away from us, but he was making that he kept making the point of stopping, turning around and staring us out, and then walk another 10 yards, stop, turn around, stare. It was just, pathetic, really. Just those sort of nitty gritty people. Which, but yeah, apart from that,
Yeah.
we didn't really have have many problems. Only the star of the show from Forbidden Routes, where I parked in her parking space by accident. I don't know if you watched that in my on my London video.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, she went there. But she after we
The Sky engineer couldn't get there.
yeah, she'd been waiting for weeks or something, and we parked right in the visitors' parking bay, but apparently it was hers. But yeah, she was quite funny actually, to be honest. After we cooled her down.
Yeah, charmed her a bit. So,
Yeah.
how many videos have you got up on your page, Jack?
I'm not sure really. It's probably around 30 or 40 different videos, I should imagine. Some different.
Okay. Are they all carp fishing?
No, they're not. No, I try to broad. Well, especially this year, I sort of set myself a target on my channel
Mm.
because it's been going now for quite a few years, and everyone loves my carp fishing videos that I put out. They do really well, and then other videos not so well. So I'm trying to. I've like I said, I've set myself a goal for the end of this year. What I want to hit on my subscribers, and I want to bring a bit more of
Right.
a wide variety of different content to the channel. So it's not just on me doing my naughty fishing and things like that. How it started, but that we'll go
Yeah.
into that a bit in a minute. But that
Yeah.
was yeah. So just photography, people that want to learn how to. Like I've done one recently, how to learn how to film with your camera, or how can you film with
Yeah.
your smartphone or anything like that really. So I want to sort of broaden it so basically I can help others really as well. So it's a bit more so people can learn really from the channel as well.
That's good. Who did you sort of get inspiration from in terms of the photography and video side of things? I mean, did you sort of see it and think, "Oh, I fancy having a go at that"? And that's where
Yeah,
it sort of
it's going to
stemmed from.
sound a little bit funny, but to be fair, like camera wise and everything like that, I've never really been inspired by anyone in the angling industry. It's not really been like that. Again,
Yeah.
going back to YouTube and watching people's videos and blogs and how to learn how to use a camera and film. It's people like I don't know if you've watched it, like Peter McKinnon, things like that. He's a massive
Yeah,
YouTuber.
I know stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched a
Yeah.
lot of his stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, people like that really, which I've probably learned quite a
Him
lot
and
of.
Matty, I
Yeah,
can't say his
Matty.
surname.
Yeah, he's got a funny name, isn't he? Happager, whatever his name is.
Yeah, is he Finnish or something, isn't he, I think?
um, they're from Canada, aren't they? I think.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you hear that one? I think his name's Jesse Senko. He's only got like about 12 videos up, I think. He was on an episode with Matthew. I think he's a producer, but he's really good. His stuff's only short. Like I say, he's got about 12 videos, but they're really short, but he's quite funny. He sort of does a bit of a weird vibe, but he's really good at editing.
Yeah,
He's
I have.
well worth a watch.
Yeah, I
Watching
have
there,
seen
really.
him. Yeah, yeah. So people like that, really.
Yeah,
It's like obviously there are
yeah,
people in the industry which are quite good, like Ollie and Ollie Davies, people like that. I think he's really
yeah,
good with the camera. But yes,
yeah,
but I've for actually the filming side of things. They probably more inspire me than anyone in the industry, really. Which I suppose is quite good
yeah,
for my YouTube channel because I'm trying to do things that are a little bit different to everyone else.
yeah. No, that's good. Do you follow James Matthews as well?
No, I don't. Is he? Well, is he in the industry?
He's a Essex boy. He's Yeah, he's really good. He's not in the fishing industry.
No.
He's just he's good with B-roll. I'll ping the link over when we're done. But yeah, he's a real good one. He does various little challenges, especially in this lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the results to one he did last night, and I think he said he had 2,000 entries to go through. He didn't expect it to be so popular.
Oh, really? Yeah, I suppose.
So he said it took him hours going through. He went for every entry. Yeah,
Yeah, that's so. When we first went into this lockdown, that was something that I really wanted to start. Was which I did do actually. I was putting a video out every day, sort of for it. And
yeah,
then I got to my Forbidden Roots 4, like the big one, and it took me a couple of days to get it out. And it's been a week now, and I haven't put anything else. I'm still working
yeah,
on a few bits, but it's so hard to stay consistent with actually uploading stuff because again,
mm,
ideas people run out of ideas, don't they? So it's hard.
yeah.
That's
And I think being creative as well. You can't force it, can you? I know it sounds a bit cliche and sort of when people talk about creativity, but I can see how true that is. It's not something you can force. You've got to be in the right sort of mindset to
yeah.
crack on with it, haven't you?
You have, and people go, "Oh yeah, they made that video or whatever." It takes it just to even make a 5 minute video takes a lot of effort, to get up and you got to. How
Yeah,
many times you got to shoot, opening a bag or something like that if it doesn't quite look right, or
yeah,
yeah,
different angles, especially if you're on your own.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the hard part with trying to record yourself. It's just absolutely nightmare, which sometimes does
Yeah.
ruin your fishing.
Obviously, you mentioned. Yeah, yeah, I said exactly the same. We had exactly this conversation yesterday with Jacob, Jacob Worth,
Yeah.
and he's just obviously just all about the fishing and doesn't really enjoy the filming side as much because it's like slows him down.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, it does. I've missed quite a few things in the past where you think, oh right, yeah, I'll quickly set the camera up or whatever. And there's one thing that I
Yeah,
don't have in my filming gear is I don't have a decent GoPro, so that's something I'm definitely going to invest in this year because then you haven't got to worry
yeah,
about it. You're still going to get that action. So, but the thing is, all the decent GoPros
yeah,
and that now they're stupid money for, but they are good.
yeah. No, no, exactly. What? So you obviously mentioned you want to do a few slightly different things and broaden the channel this year. What have you got planned for that?
Well, again, recently I've been just sort of again with people that I get a lot of messages asking how you do this, how you do that, and bits and bobs, especially with your smartphones and things like that. So people are going, "Oh, I film only on my phone. Do I need to get a camera?" And that's quite a lot. I get that message a lot. So I thought I'd make a quick video
Right.
of just a little B-roll sequence of using my smartphone, and it came out really well. I was really pleased with it,
Yeah.
and I think
Nice.
those sort of videos they can inspire other people, can't they? To pick up a you haven't got to go out and spend thousands of pounds on a camera. It's all done
No,
on
absolutely.
it's all done on how you edit it, I suppose, which only comes in time with yes that the editing part of it
Yeah.
is
And
probably the bit that I enjoy the most, to be honest.
okay. Yeah.
Which
See,
is
I'm the other way around. I prefer the shooting, and I've done a bit of editing. I just don't get on well. I don't know. It's the bit I probably enjoy the least.
yeah,
But I think that's because I don't really know what I'm doing
and I think
as such with
on
Premiere Pro.
yeah, that's it. And it's exactly when I listened to Jacob's one yesterday. It's the same as him, isn't it? He can't stand the editing of it.
Yeah.
He says, but to me, that's where it comes alive, isn't it? That's where you start creating all these
Yeah.
videos. That's
Yeah.
where a good piece becomes a great piece, I suppose. And it's different, isn't it? Like,
No, nice.
yeah.
And do you what editing package do you
See,
use?
I just use I literally just use iMovie. So there's
Yeah.
something that I've just learnt to use. I've tried I've
Yeah.
tried Premiere Pro, and to be honest, I will go back to it.
Yeah.
I will because if I want to get my videos to a standard which I think is amazing, then I need to go over to something like that. But I feel like I'm doing all right at the moment with iMovie. So I'm still learning it now. There's
Yeah.
still other bits where I think, oh, blooming hell, I've never used that. Knew that was on there. It's
Yeah, so anything you can go down a wormhole with learning on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you can.
Yeah, so yeah, I've got Premiere Pro, and I'm always hassling John Fluin. How can I do this? How do I do sending him voice messages over Facebook Messenger? How do I do this in Premiere Pro? How do I do that? I think he gets a little bit annoyed with it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, one thing I want to ask just before I forget as well. We'll do the rotary letter before we move on to some other bits. Your one is from Jacob, or you'd have heard it anyway, I think.
right.
And it's, what's your explanation as to why fish do or don't follow a new wind? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, a lot of it is got to do with temperature, hasn't it? What time of year it is, what type of wind it is makes a big difference. So if it's cold, it's got a horrible easterly wind. Sometimes you'll more or less find them on the back of it, won't you? Staying out, staying sheltered. And again,
Yeah,
if it's a new warm wind, they follow it, don't they? Well, that's not always the case, I suppose,
yeah.
but the majority.
No, it's this time of year is again. It's time of year, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Like in the winter, if it's absolutely um, blowing a hoolie and it's a cold wind, or personally, I prefer to be on the back of it.
Hmm.
But I don't know. You can never quite tell, can you, with fish? Sometimes you turn up to a lake and you think that's where they're going to be, and it's not always the case. There's always
Yeah,
different elements in there, like if with naturals, everything like that. So if all the naturals are getting blown down to one end of the lake, then you're more or less going to find them down there. I should imagine. It's
no,
again, it's all
definitely.
all down to
It's
your eyes,
very,
isn't it?
yeah, and it's very, I suppose, individual to the particular water you're on, isn't it? As well.
It is, yeah. It's all down to watercraft, isn't it? So you'll
Yeah,
figure out that lake depending on how long you've been on it
yeah,
or whatever. It all becomes a picture at the end of the day, doesn't it? So if the yeah, so
yeah. On that note, Jack, on watercraft, that's a previous question we've had.
right, okay.
Um, and one that I just like to throw in there. What have you got any tips for watercraft, or things that you've learned, or things that are important for you, or have you got like any sort of hard and fast rules that you'll always do first when you get to a lake?
Um, it's a bit of a weird one, really, because I would actually class myself as quite a good sort of stalking angler. I'll always find the fish. Doesn't
Right.
matter where I go. Everyone will always say to me, "Oh, you can't catch him off the surface, or you can't do that." But more or less, I believe myself, and I think I will catch him off the top or stalk him out at some point.
Yeah.
But it's just about roaming around. Always have a set of Polaroids. Just it's essential, isn't it? Um,
Yeah.
to finding the fish. Yeah, climbing trees, like I say, follow the wind, see where they are. If it, Also, like on a hot day, you can quite sometimes you see the shimmer, don't you, of the lake, and you can just stand there watching for ages. But more or less, I always
Yeah.
find them in a slack bit of water on a hot day, just sitting there,
Right.
sunning themselves. It's yeah, it's a hard one. I always find them, but it's legwork, isn't it? At the end of the day, the more effort you put in,
Yeah.
the more rewards you're going to
Yeah.
get.
Like
So
anything.
yeah, so if
Yeah.
you turn up at the lake and you're just going to set up in the first swim you come to, you're not that could be a mile down the other end of the lake to where you are, isn't it? So again, it's all down to
Yeah.
eyes and working hard to try and find them. And if that means
Yeah. And just building up a pattern, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. I mean, if there's a bush in my way to get to the fish, I will crash through that bush. That's the type of angler I am. I'll make a path through there to get to it. Obviously, if it's
Yeah.
like an abandoned water or something like that. Yeah, that was the sort of angler I'd say that I am. Very good at roaming around.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I think I've seen two of your videos, the London one, and I think it was your latest one that you uploaded recently,
Yeah,
where I think it culminated with you having that nice mirror at the end. Is
yeah,
that right?
yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
my latest one, Forbidden Routes 4, and that mirror.
Talk us through a bit about that capture. How did that come about? How did you know about that fish?
Well, my friend Sam, he rung me sort of in the middle of the day, and he goes. So obviously everyone knows that I'm always after new waters, which haven't been
Yeah.
sort of well, or if they have, not many people know about them or anything like that. So this
Hmm.
this capture was a bit of a surprise to me really because it was only about 10 mile away from where I live, and I never knew it was there, and I've done a lot of work on Google Maps and a lot of searching for lakes like this. And he rang me saying, "Jack, I've just worked just down the road from this lake," and I poked my head through the bush. And he goes, "I've seen a couple of fish in there that look sort of around 20 pound." And as soon as you hear
Yeah.
that from someone, I know you trust your mates and everything, but as soon as you hear that, you just go, "Oh, okay, there might be a couple of doubles in there or something like that." But so I said to him, "Right, I'll come and have a look with you after work." I had nothing planned that night, and when I first came to the water with him, when I first approached it, the first fish I saw was that mirror, and I really couldn't believe my luck really. And he'd been mucking around doing some course fishing the day before, so he set up and he had something like a £3 hook link on one of his rods. So he goes, "Jack, look, it's just going to snap
Right.
me up." He goes, "Go on, go for it." And fair play, really nice of him and that to let me have a go for that fish. And yeah, we ended up catching it from the other end of the lake with what I actually first noticed it. Um, but
Yeah.
what a capture that was. I really I still
Mm.
buzz about that now. That was the whole,
Yeah. It's a hell of a fish.
and that was the whole reason that I sort of started my forbidden routes. It sort of went off course a little bit, but at the beginning, that's how I wanted it to come across. From it's not being sort of naughty fishing, and putting out the wrong vibe for everyone. It was sort of finding places which hadn't really been touched or not really that private, that people aren't going to get their hump
Yeah.
about you fishing, and just basically neglected lakes with a few carp in it. And I know at one stage I did
Hmm.
go a little bit sort of off off target, I should imagine. I've done a few couple of stupid things, fishing stupid waters, but you live and learn, don't you, from that? And I won't be doing that
Yeah.
again.
What do you mean by that? Or can't you talk about it?
Yeah, I can do. I in one of them, the third one, which was obviously the previous one, I fished a couple of places which were well, I suppose I did actually put it out in the video. So I fished one of a castle moat. I won't actually say what castle it is, but yeah, I fished a castle moat with
Yeah.
had some big old koi and that in it, and I was sort of just going down there early doors and bagging them out. Just again, I think I'd done that for the photo more than anything, for
Yeah.
holding up
Got a
that
castle and a koi.
yeah, holding up that fish, yeah, with the castle behind it. Which again, I had some really good feedback on it and had some bad feedback. And the more time's gone on, I thought about it and I thought, yeah, to be fair, that's pretty stupid, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I say, you live and learn. I, I did actually get a letter from the police about that, and had to go in for an interview stuff. Um, but the guy that was the officer that was interviewing me, he was a fan of mine and watches my videos, which helped.
It's so funny now stuff like that works out.
Yeah, and he was telling me, and I said to him at the end of the interview, he was telling me about this water. I said, "Look, if you ever want to go fishing, you only got to give me a ring." But he wasn't. Yeah, he didn't jump on that one.
Yeah. Any other funny stories, mate, you can tell us about?
There has been a few to do with that side of sort of guesting on lakes. There was one back at the beginning where this place, right, this is going to sound a bit funny, but this place I've never fished a more scarier place. Right, I've fished in the middle of London, done nights there, but this place is something.
Right.
When there's something eerie about a lake,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this one was in the middle of a woods. It's people don't go down there. It's not. It's a place which has been really
Yeah.
neglected over time. And when you're down there, even in the day, you know, you hear a screech or something like that, and you're constantly on edge, knowing that you might not be allowed to be there. So I could never do nights down there on my own. I tried. 11 o'clock once I made it to, and I was like, right, I've got to get out there. This is, you know, it's proper heart pounding stuff. And I know it makes me sound like a
Yeah.
Jesse there, but you know when you're not allowed to, well, you know you're not allowed to be somewhere maybe, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
just the eerie, the foxes. I've seen a badger rip a fox to death when I was down there once. I mean, that's sort of how remote it is down there. You know, you're seeing all this wildlife.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've got my mate, and we've just taken light gear. I've been baiting the spot, and we decided to take a brolly for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but we bivvied up on one side, and it's got a dam at one end, and if someone comes, it's always from this specific the other side of the lake, down this footpath, and you can see if someone is coming. And I just basically whacked the rods out, and I'd had a fish straight away, so that was a plus just before nightfall, and and by the time we put it
Yeah.
back, it was just that light was just going, and for some reason I'd mucked the clip up or something, and it got caught in a snag, so I've had to pull for a break. And I was busy tying a new rig and that inside the brolly, got all my tackle box out. You know, a time where you really don't want anyone coming and intruding on you. You know, and suddenly this light's
Yeah.
turned on at the other end of the lake, and I was in such a mess. You know, tackle everywhere, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I've just said to my mate, well, we're done, aren't we? You know, we're caught. And next thing I know, he shot up, ran towards the rods, and and before because of the adrenaline's going through him so much, he hadn't even turned his alarms off. He just reeled straight through him. So obviously the alarms are going crazy, and I've just gone, you absolute imbecile. Got up and done exactly the same thing as him. Couldn't believe it. Done exactly the same thing. And luckily, there's a waterfall right next to us, so it must have softened the noise of the alarms because I don't think he heard it. But he knew he
Hmm.
somehow we had about 2 minutes to totally pack everything down and get it behind the bush. And I had a camo net with me at one point, and I've thrown it over, and we've hid him behind one tree each. And this was pitch black then, and he got so close. He knew something was there. He got so close that we could hear him breathing, and he was on the other side of the tree to me. And obviously, you don't know when you're sitting there, and your heart's going like that. You don't even know who you're coming in contact with, do you? Like it's pitch black, and I
Yeah.
mean, it could be some 20-stone bodybuilder that you're hiding from there, or, or you just don't know, do you? So it was a bit that, yeah, and we ended up staying in that same position for about 3 hours. I think
Oh,
we
God.
didn't even know, and then I thought my mate had disappeared. Basically, he was right next to me for all that time, and I never heard a thing from him. And then about 3 hours later, I hear go, Jack. And so luckily we managed to get out of there without getting our collar felt. But yeah, that was a bit of an eye opener to me then, and I thought I'm not going back down that place. I'm not fishing nights down there anymore. Um, but it's for that bloke that owned that lake. I actually bumped into him in the gym
Right.
a few months later, um, and he came up to me and he goes, "You that guy from Spinning Ridge that do the filming?" And I went, "Yeah." I went, "Oh God, what's it?" And he goes, "I'm the owner of this lake." Oh no. Oh dear, this is not what I need. And to be fair, he was all right, but he sort of he told me he didn't want anyone down there and stuff like that, which obviously um, I haven't been back since. But yeah, what a
Yeah. Well, did he know it was you or not?
yeah, he knew straight away. I was working out, and I saw this bloke just keep looking at me. Man, this bloke's got a problem. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. And then I said to my
Yeah.
mate who was with me, I said, "This guy, he keeps looking at me funny." And then as soon as I said that, he's come over. But
Oh, no.
yeah, no, he was all right. To be fair, I said to him, "Well, I'm not going down there anymore. I've had all the fish that I was after and stuff." And it was a long time ago. And yeah, he was fine
Yeah.
with it. To be fair, but yeah, no, I've had some bad experiences, I suppose, with it as well. One lake in
Yeah.
this big sand pit that I used to fish, absolutely amazing lake. I must say, it is the best English lake I've ever fished. It reminds me of an English rainbow,
Mm.
really. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
overgrown. It's where the water levels risen so much over the years that it's come up miles onto the banks and it's basically flooding the
Right.
trees. So it's just a massive snaggy water.
Yeah.
But it's in a bit of a rough area, that place. And
Mm.
one night I parked on the gate, and you weren't allowed to fish this. Well, not you weren't allowed. There wasn't. No one had any fishing rights on there, so there was a lot of people on there at the same time as me. And parked near
Right.
the gate, and it's about 2 o'clock at night. We've heard another van turn up right next to ours, and my mate's gone up there to check it out, and he's seen them snooping around the vans, and he sort of
Mm.
confronted them. And I said, "What are you doing snooping around?" They've just gone absolutely ballistic at him. There was a couple of travellers, and next thing I know, all hell's broken loose, and they went absolutely. They had a slingshot with him pointing at us, and it was that again. That was a night where we thought, "What are we doing?" You don't want to be going through all of that. When I say this bloke went
No.
absolutely ballistic, I mean it. He just didn't even give
Yeah.
us a chance to talk or anything like that because he'd been caught red-handed.
Yeah.
The only way he could sort of get out of it was just to go absolutely ballistic and get his catapult out. And when I say he had a catapult, one of them big black widows, like a proper one with
Oh, yeah.
metal
Yeah.
ball
With the
bearings and that.
support, the
Yeah,
wrist support, and everything.
exactly. That whacks you on the head,
Yeah.
you're gonna. And
Yeah.
so we weren't arguing. But yeah, that was a bit of a heart pounding moment. That was. And
I don't know how
one,
you do it, mate. I see. I like to be able to relax when I go out angling.
yeah, I suppose it does bring a bit of well, it keeps you on your toes, I suppose, and there is times where I really do
Yeah.
like. There is times where I really do like being in the wilderness. With my river fishing, I do a lot of river fishing as well. And I suppose
Right.
that's my release into the sort of nature where I don't really get that with any of my other fishing, and I do that for a couple of months a year, really, especially at the beginning of the river season. I
Right.
bait it from sort of
Hmm.
May time, and then I spend a good couple of months on the river, and that's probably my favourite times of the year. I absolutely love it.
Okay. What for the carp or any species?
No, just the carp. Yeah, I've there's one fish specifically I've been after for about 4 years now. I know it's in there, and it's mid 30 from a river, and I mean a river 30 is
Wow.
an absolutely amazing fish, especially down my end. In the Thames and that, there's a handful of them, isn't there? But from
Yeah.
down where I live, if you catch a river 20, that's a remarkable fish. But a 30, it's pretty unheard of down
Yeah.
this end. And there's this one. And last year, like I said, I've been after it for 4 years. Last year, I found it just grazing in this slack bit of water, and I've just gently lowered a bit of slow sinking bread onto top of it, sucked it in. I got so excited, I struck it straight out of his mouth.
Oh no.
And yeah, that one haunts me still. So I will be back for that, and I am going to catch it. But hopefully this year's my year for that one.
Yeah, it must be so. I mean, I know when I've stalked fish, it's so exciting and it's so hard to remain calm, isn't it? And to not lose your head.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, there's parts of it, isn't there? Like you see these big group of fish come in, but then your adrenaline just kicks over, and you end up doing stupid things like your line's caught in that tree, and then you get it out of that one, it's caught in the other, and
Yeah,
it wouldn't normally happen to you, but it's when that adrenaline kicks in, it's hard, isn't it, to try and hold it all together, which always makes me laugh, really, because
yeah,
some of the things that you've missed and that in the past all makes stories, doesn't it?
yeah. So I'd imagine most of your captures then come from pretty much close in from how you're talking.
Yeah, obviously in winter and stuff, it's a totally different ball game for me as an angler. I do fish through the winter, but it's hard like anywhere, isn't it? Depending on what water you choose, I suppose. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say by the time it gets to spring all the way round to the end of autumn, I'm basically roaming around with two of my 6 foot sawn offs and got my unhooking mat strapped to the bottom of my backpack, and away I go. Um, Unless I'm doing
Yeah.
nights, quick overnighters. But then, like I say, bite time's gone in the morning, and I'm up, I'm packed up, and
Mm.
I'm on the move. Not necessarily with all the
Yeah.
gear, but that goes back in the van or whatever, and yeah, I'm going searching, and that's what I enjoy with my fishing.
Yeah. Very minimalistic.
Yeah, no, exactly. Last winter I fished a this is like something that I don't do. I don't really fish day ticking waters, just unless you're going on a social with a lot of mates or anything like that. But there's this one water near me, and it's got a couple of big commons in it. At right time of year, they
Mm.
do £50, and it's a small water, but in my in, yeah, over the years, I've found that small waters, low stock waters, are tricky, and I thought I went on
Yeah.
there. I went on there, had a winter ticket, and I done 30 nights through the winter. And I honestly, I didn't even have a bleep, not a single bleep in 30 nights. And then as soon as I got that
God.
first bit of sun in spring, I started smashing them out, literally on slow
Yeah.
sinking bits of bread off the surface. And I had the hardest fish in the lake to capture. I had it twice
Right.
within 4 months. I had it both off the surface. One, obviously, the second time was by accident. I didn't want to catch it again, but yeah, and
Yeah.
I caught it at £49. I caught it off that 6 foot sword off that put it through its paces.
Wow.
That really did.
Um,
Yeah, that really did put it through it. But they're good.
God.
They're good bits of.
Amazing. And is it always the slow sinking bread you tend to favour in that scenario?
Definitely, 100%. That is, if
Yeah.
you put a bit of bread on that surface, it's a totally different reaction that you're going to get from the carp. If you slow sink
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what it is, but even the hardest of fish to
Yeah.
catch, I swear they can't resist it when it's fluttering down past them.
It's
They
like a
just
lure almost, like
they just think
wafting
it.
in front of them, like in a.
Yeah, and obviously it's a small sort of thumbnail size that I use, and like I say, I've caught some pretty hard carp, mate, just like that, and
Yeah.
and yeah, I think because it's falling through the water column right in front of them, they just think it's a natural, don't they? I suppose anything that's
Yeah.
fluttering down, and when it sinks so slowly like that, they just think, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to have that.
And is that you literally just free line it and just sort of pinch it into a shape with the point exposed, or how do you fish it?
No, yeah, well, I'll just point it around the shank. Press it around the shank and have the point and everything. There's nothing's exposed on the hook. And
Okay.
obviously, when that bread absorbs that water, and when it goes in the mouth, when you strike, it comes straight through, I suppose. But
Yeah.
like I say, it's a different type of angling. I've done big pit fishing, I've done match fishing, I've done all sorts. But
Yeah.
that I do, that's sort of my style of fishing. I catch a lot more fish that
Hmm.
way. Some people think it's not a proper way of catching them or anything. If you catch fish with rod and line and a hook, and get it in the back of that landing
Yeah.
net, that's all right with me.
Yeah. I bet you've had some pretty hairy scraps as well with those little sawn offs, haven't you? In like little tight swims.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, but I'm not just going to say this because I'm with Nash or anything, but those sawn offs are really good bits of kit. Really, really good
Yeah.
bits of kit, and that I would say they're my favourite rods I've ever owned. I've got £3 test curve ones, so you can give them some stick.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I've had, like I say, I've had fish up to £49 on them. I had another mirror out of a busy part late last year at 44 on it. And that one I actually did hear the rod creaking. Yeah, we really did
Right.
that run me around for a long time. I did think the rod was going to explode, but it held together. But it's probably not to do with the blank. It's probably to do with all the crap that's stuck down the blank and everything. Because I don't exactly look after
Yeah.
my gear.
Yeah. What about reels? Are they sort of scaled right down as well to suit?
Yeah, I've got a couple of old school SS750s on them, and they perfectly balance
Right.
with those rods. To be fair, they're really good. You know, they're quite small. To
Yeah.
be honest, I mean, furthest I can cast with them is probably about 40 yards, and that's at a whack.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
You don't really need to, do you?
No, exactly. Anything else, I've got to hit 100 yards and plus, and all the big rods come out. Well, anything 40 yards and above, I suppose, and then the big rods come out. So
Yeah.
it depends what style of fishing
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, but yeah, majority I use
Yeah.
the Sonos, mate. Yeah, these days.
Nice, brilliant. Yeah, I got a set of the dwarfs for the boys to use, and I'm quite jealous of them. The 9 footers. I think they're
Yeah.
£3 as well. Actually,
Have you just got them? Have
yeah,
you?
they're lovely little rods for them. Well, no, I got them. I think I got them. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year sometime. But they've got the little rod bag and everything. Probably need some smaller reels because they've just got my old like Wingcast Zeds on there, so they're probably a bit too big for the
Yeah.
rods.
Yeah, possibly.
But they're lovely. Yeah, lovely little rods though.
Yeah, I've actually made a video on one of those. On the
Right.
dwarf, they do a £1 Tesco version now, and they've just
Okay.
revamped their dwarf stuff. And I got hold of this £1 Tesco one for perch fishing in the winter, and I was I was blown away with the quality of the rod for the price that you're going to pay. So I decided to make a video on
Right.
it, and yeah, honestly, if you're short for cash and things and can't afford the scope rods, then the dwarfs they really are. They're a good bit of kit as well, and I would advise anyone to buy them if they're after a little stalking setup. And
Yeah.
they've really
nice, mate.
they've really upped their blank and stuff on them this year as well. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, they are good bits of kit.
Okay. Cool. Obviously, we went off on a bit of a tangent then. I forgot to ask you your question for the next guest. So if you can do that, then we'll look to wrap up, mate. That's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. I can't remember what I said. If you could go back in time, what angler would you fish with, and why?
Okay. What angler would you fish with, and why?
And going back to
Okay.
those scopes quickly. I travelled around Thailand with those in my backpack.
Right.
So that's sort of how good they are for travelling around. So I literally travelled Thailand with that in my backpack, and had a few moments that I wouldn't have had without them. Just fishing different little species.
I suppose they're perfect for spinning and things as well, aren't
Exactly. Yeah, I've used them all through the winter for my perch fishing. I didn't use them. I've been out grayling fishing during the winter as well. I didn't use them for that because you need quite a soft rod. But for the perch, pike fishing, things like that, yeah, spinning, just anything like that. Really, it's just a good bit of kit, aren't they, to whack out your bag and have a bit of fun with. And if you do end up hooking something good, then you've got the backbone to deal with it.
Yeah,
which is quite good.
Yeah, no, awesome, mate. Okay, cool. One more thing, and then we'll wrap up. I'm just getting everyone to do a 60-second sketch. You've probably heard already of a carp. Do a little video of you doing it, and just make sure it takes no more than 60 seconds. Then just ping it across to me, and I'm going to run a little competition whenever lockdown ends, whenever that may be. Who knows?
60 seconds.
I'm just getting everyone that I've got on. Yeah, so just a real quick sketch.
I told you I'm a creator.
Not a masterpiece, don't worry. Yeah,
I told you I like to put in some effort on these things. 60 seconds. God knows what that's going to turn out.
Some of them are quite funny. Some of them are all right.
I'll get my old dear to do it.
Yeah, just make sure you film it as well, Jack.
Yeah. All right. Okay. What are we doing? Are we posting that on Instagram then?
No, just send it across to me. I'll give you my WhatsApp and just send it across to me, and I'm going to do like an anonymous one, so people don't know who it is. So there's no bias behind it.
Right. Okay. That sounds good.
Cool.
Right.
Okay, mate. Right, we'll wrap up there.
Yeah.
Jack, thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you very much for having me.